first red card occasion when the VAR came in and Montiel was sent off, it does kind of set a standard, especially for a derby, that at this point on, anything that's questionable, has to go at least to VAR. So I think that influenced the following sending offs as well. What's up, gente? Welcome back to Stan Sports, and we're here again. I'm glad to be joined another morning by David Whitworth. David, how are you doing today?
Hey, how's it going, Stan? Hope you're doing well. Doing well, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if you're doing very well because obviously last night you were at the big place at the Benito Villamarin where we saw a very bloody Seville derby. Not much football, but lots of work for the referee. What's your first feeling this morning waking up? Is it a feeling of disappointment that you didn't get to throw 3 points? A feeling of, oh well, I guess we got a point that maybe we couldn't even get that after playing more than half an hour with 9 men. So yeah, what are the first sensations after this crazy Seville derby that we saw last night?
Absolutely, Dan. Stan, there's a lot to unbox with this match. It was let's say a tempestuous derby, typical derby. Well, atypical with 3 men sent off. But I think the real winner of this game was the occasion. I think the occasion beat both teams. That was the absolute winner. The spectacle beat the both of them together. Where to start? Obviously, when you have red cards, very little rhythm. I mean, as you know, derbies are very tense, tight occasions, fighting for every ball, and we saw that from the first minute. Personally, speaking from the Betis camp, obviously, everyone can recognise that Betis were the favourites going into the game, but as it concluded, a derby, you never know. The derby form goes out the window. You never know with the refereeing decisions and the derby as it is, form certainly goes out the window. So it wasn't a surprise, the scoreline, but just the makeup of the match was, it was an incredible occasion to be part of live as well. Just to see it unfold was like, really, did that happen? Did that just happen? You think you see so many matches and then you think, wow, and then you see something completely different. Personally, my feeling is of content with the draw, considering that when you play 45 minutes around that time with a man less, and certainly in a high profile match, obviously when you can't win, as Manuel Pellegrini always says, draw. And certainly, holding on for that amount of time was a good point in the end. If you take away the derby factor, it's not a surprise because in the opinion that this is not the first time that Betis have had men sent off, and we've got a draw from a match. I think this is the 3rd time that Betis have had a man sent off, gone on to get a draw, or they have not lost a goal in that period. For instance, Betis lost against Celta Vigo 1-0, but when they had the man sent off, they never conceded a goal. So it shows that the spirit of the team is right there. And it showed once again last night. So I think first and foremost, as a supporter, seeing how the game went along, certainly a point was a good result. Obviously, at the start of the game, wanted a win, but seeing how it all developed out of a hurly-burly, crazy match, I think that a point was a good result from the green and white half of things, that's for sure.
Yeah, and to be fair to Sevilla and under Sampaoli, there has been a change there. They have been playing a bit more strongly defensively. They haven't been conceding as much as they did before. Even in the Champions League against City, it surprised me that they went to the Etihad and scored a goal, in a game that was basically a dead rubber for both teams. Made it a competitive game. Yeah, it was City's B team, it's true, but there has been that kind of upward trajectory under Sampaoli. So, yeah, I did expect them to be a tough team, but I think especially with the first half performance, Betis should be a little bit disappointed because if they were a little bit more effective in front of goal, if they were a little bit more clinical, I think they could have put the game away even before the sending offs, or certainly the Betis, the Fekir sending off, they could have been 2-0 up. I think also you had a few Spanish players with something to play for, to prove to Luis Enrique as well. Sergio Canales, I thought he had a brilliant first half. He gave 2 assists that should have been converted into goals. I think Borja Iglesias missing that chance one-on-one with the keeper was huge.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
him, another person that wants to, again, make a statement. He is in that squad, but he wants to show his best self. And you could see in the second half when he got sent off, he was disappointed. He was genuinely worried about the player and just disappointed. So yeah, it feels like a missed opportunity for Betis because they were the better team when the powers were even. But I guess, as you said, all things considered, at the end of the day, like 1 point from the Seville derby, it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with all things respected from like waking up from this morning and just trying to analyze it all. Certainly, Betty's missed a trick in the first half, as you said. I think this is something that has happened in the last few derbies, that Betis have given too much respect to Sevilla. And even from the get-go, Sevilla were getting on the ball the first 5-10 minutes. And I was thinking they should be the other way around. Betis should be attacking this match, really showing that who is the better team in the table right now, and really pressing home that advantage. So I think that already from the early part of that game, Sevilla did well to take a certain control of the game, although there wasn't so much control. But Sevilla certainly were having the better of the exchanges of possession. But certainly Betis certainly had let's say a few very good chances to get goals from Borja Iglesias. Certainly a crucial moment was Alex Moreno early in the second half for a chance one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Great save by Bono to make it 2-0. As you know, goals change games. That could have been a different complexion. Speaking of the goalkeepers, I thought they were both terrific, both Bono and Bravo. Bono made 3 fantastic saves throughout the game. Bravo made 2 very, very good saves as well from Gidic, who scored a spectacular goal. I mean, I had a great view of that from the north stand, and as soon as he hit it,
he's a
thunderbolt, it went in.
midfielder. That's why you play players in the natural positions. He's a midfielder.
Yes.
And when he gets a chance, he does something like that. And when you play him as a center back, as he's been pushed into playing for the last 3 months, he's not as effective. And if anything, he's targeted as a weakness in that Sevilla side. But yeah, brilliant goal. Not so much the same we can say for the Betis goal.
No, that was a mashup between the forwards and Jesus Navas for sure. But the Gidic goal was tremendous. As soon as he hit it, you could see I had a beautiful view of it, and it flew in. It absolutely flew in. And watching the replays of him gives Bravo absolutely no chance. And then he had a great chance to hit the bar as well. And then he had another chance right at the end, which Bravo made that very, very good save. So he had a very, very good game indeed. And yeah, he's done well considering that, it's not his natural position.
Did you have any problem with the sending offs? We talked a little bit earlier and mentioned, the Fekir red card maybe was a bit questionable. I do think by the first kind of VAR in the first red card occasion, when the VAR came in and Montiel was sent off, it does kind of set a standard, especially for a derby, that at this point on, anything that's questionable, has to go at least to VAR. So I think that influenced the following sending offs as well.
I completely agree. And I think that Betty should have been mindful of that when they had the man advantage. Do not do anything that's remotely dangerous, because the referees are influenced that way. That they're not looking for sides, but they are looking to be as down the line as possible. So if there is anything that could be questionable, it would go to VAR. So I think let's go through these one by one. Certainly the first one, Montiel, that was a definite red card. Referee did well to go to VAR and check that out. It was a rash challenge. And
it was too high, wasn't it, that foot?
Totally. The Fekir one is the doubt with me. And I think that it's a yellow card. It warrants a yellow. He has touched him and he's placed his hand on him. But I think sometimes you need to grab something to have that some kind of keep that momentum with going with you. Obviously, he's got a history that maybe precedes him. But I think in that incident warranted a yellow card and nothing more. And the third one was definitely a red card. It was a rash challenge by Booker, very unlike him. He knew straight away that he'd done wrong, and there was obviously no malice intended, but the timing was bad, and it was a certain red card. So I believe that two of the three were correct, and then the Fekir one definitely was a questionable red card. It should have been a yellow.
And I guess that leaves Betis without Borja Iglesias, without Fekir now, in their visit to Mestalla. You're coming to Valencia to see that game, so stay tuned. We're going to the Mestalla on Thursday, and we're gonna witness the final round of the La Liga before we part for the World Cup. So yeah, subscribe to Stan Sports. Make sure you stay tuned, and we'll talk later. Ciao.